And welcome back to Music Free Static. I hope you're having a fabulous day. And I got to admit, I love this time of year. I love Christmas time. I love the peace and joy that comes from the celebration of the birth of Christ. I also enjoy Christmas movies, which, as often as not, have nothing to do with Christ. Okay. Now, that said, there are a lot of Christmas movies and also Christmas music that I love. Okay. And I know Christmas music can get really boring really fast, and I am there with you. Okay. If you're one of those people unfortunate enough to work in a place where they play music and you hear the same songs over and over and over again, I get that. Okay. That gets hard. All right. Now, as I said, I'm kind of with you. There are a lot of Christmas music that is just boring. Some of it's just boring through repetition. Some of it's just not great. Okay. But there are a few Christmas songs that I really, really love. Okay. Oh Holy Night is high on my list. Okay. Done well, it almost always brings me to the verge of tears, or brings me a surge of joy sometimes, depending on the version. I really like there's a version that the Celtic Women did back in 2008 or 9, that their first Christmas album, that it just hits right. I love that one. On the other hand, there's a version sung by Pavarotti. Cannot stand it. Oh man, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the way his Italian accent hits with the English version of that song. It just does not work for me. Okay, but I love A Holy Night. What Child Is This is another one that I really like. And What Child Is This is the melody of Greensleeves. Okay, and man, again, one of those songs I could listen to all the time. And there are a couple of others I could listen to all the time, which I'll talk about in a minute. But the other one I like, and it's weird because I've heard a couple of different melodic versions of it, right? The song is I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. Okay. We have a version of it in our hymn book at church. I remember hearing Harry Belafonte, I think, has a version of it, completely different melody. But it's the poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, if I'm remembering that correctly, that really hits me. And I love the idea of, because the idea of the song, right, if you go through it, or the poem, if you want to go music free, this is music free static after all. No, is the idea is, here's a person, he hears the Christmas bells and thinks of what they mean, Christmas, peace on earth and all that stuff, and he looks out and says, there is no peace on earth, right? The hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men, right? That's part of the theme, right? But as the poem goes on, is then rang the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. And it sings that yes, things are hard, but we still have that hope and faith that in God and in Christ, that we can overcome these things. And I love this. I love that message. Not every song I hear of it really hits, but I love the poem so much that, of course, what is a song but poetry set to music, right? So that's all fun, right? And then there are a few others. I'm just going to go 3 more. Then I want to talk about movies, because movies are fun too. I don't know if you've heard of the group Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They were really big in the 90s. They're still going strong, I think, but I haven't heard much new from them lately. But they had a couple of Christmas albums, and TSO is fun. They put together what basically is a rock opera. But it is so great. Some of the music is amazing. I highly recommend if you can find. I think I've found a couple of recordings of their live shows on YouTube. Not to be missed. Okay, but they have a couple of songs. I think from their first album, which I think is Christmas Eve and Other Stories. I think I can't remember. It's one, but they have a song on they title it Christmas Eve in Sarajevo, which is God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, which I love. But it is metal. Okay, it is electric guitars and drums, and the premise of the song is you within their set, the way they set it up is that an angel has come down to earth to find a gift for God, and he's looking at the state of the world, and so here is Sarajevo, stricken by war, and so that's the setup, and then there's this piece, and it is amazing, and it is this driving. I said I'm not into metal very much, but this song, it just hits hard. Okay, and I love it. Okay, that one, and then the second Christmas album they did has, I think it's the second one. Oh no, this is also on the first one. Take that back. The second one has the Christmas Canon, which is a version of Paco Bell's Canon, which is fun. But the Mad Russian Christmas is Nutcracker, but again, sort of hit with modern instrumentation, and it's just fun. Okay, but my favorite song off of it isn't a Christmas classic or a variation thereof. It's a song called Old City Bar. And it tells a story which, depending on the mood I'm in, will very often bring me to tears. Okay? Because the premise of the song is it's this bar in New York City. Okay? It's Christmas Eve. And the bar has its normal crowd of people who this is where they could be, right? They're not going home for Christmas because there's no reason for them to be at home for Christmas. You've got just your group of lonely drunks, basically. And the bartender looks out after this child comes in and says, look, there's this girl outside who can't get home. So the bartender goes out, talks to her, and he cleans out the till and gives her the cash and sends her, calls her a cab to the airport and sends her off. And he comes in. And it's set amongst this backdrop of, again, the whole story of the album is, or of the show is that, hey, yes, things are hard, but the Christmas spirit and the Christian spirit of peace and giving and all that stuff is still there. And it talks about this poor girl who is stuck. She's standing at a broken payphone, and is making a wish on a neon star. And the song, it just hits. Okay, it hits me hard. So, and that's one of those songs that's on my playlist year round. Okay, I don't care if it's a Christmas song. I will listen to this any time of the year. Okay. Actually, same with Oh Holy Night, and it's just one of those, I can listen to that all the time. Okay. But I'm with you. There are only so many times I can listen to Jingle Bells or Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay? It's just not going to be a thing. Now, that said, again, most of those I don't have on my playlist year round. but there's a lot of great music. I do like some of the uh, I don't know, movements isn't quite the right word from Handel's Messiah, but some of the pieces within the Messiah are great. But there's lots of good music, and I love music. But I also love movies and television, right? Now, I don't watch as much as I used to, and that's probably a good thing. But there is this tradition of Christmas movies and stuff, and a lot of them are not worth the film they're printed on. Okay, some are great, some are not. That's fair. And again, whether you like a movie or not is purely subjective. So if there are movies you like and I don't, awesome. I'm going to talk about movies on my Christmas movie list. You may not like them at all. Also fine, right? These are the things I love. These are some of my Christmas favorites, all right? And one of the first ones, I actually just watched it yesterday, was the TV show from Disney Plus, Hawkeye, right? It's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is a 6-episode, I think, series at Christmas of, hey, here's Hawkeye. He's having a Christmas with his kids, a chance for them to really bond and be together as a family. Okay. Unfortunately, his wife couldn't make it for, I think, COVID reasons. Looking at the practicalities of shooting. But anyway, so they've got, so the idea is, here's Hawkeye. He's in New York with his kids. And Haley Steinfeld, who plays Kate Bishop, has this serious hero worship of Hawkeye. She's defined her personality in somewhat of seeing Hawkeye fight in the Battle of New York. Okay. Well, she gets sideways of Kingpin and the Tracksuit Mafia and ends up drawing Hawkeye into the issue, into this whole thing. Okay. So now it is your traditional Christmas story in some ways of husband and father just wants to get home to his family for Christmas, and the crisis happens, and he's not going to get home. Or that's part of the stress. Is he going to get home for Christmas while surviving whatever the crisis is, right? In this case, it's the mob, organized crime, and all of that. Other movies, it might be a natural disaster or zombies or whatever, okay? But that sort of theme happens a lot in Christmas shows and Christmas movies. But I like Hawkeye. It's fun, and I love Haley Steinfeld in it, okay? Now, if you want more detailed thoughts, I think I did a really late movie review of Hawkeye back in the day. You can go hunt that up on the channel. But again, it's a fun Christmas movie in that, again, it's your standard Christmas plot of guy can't get home for Christmas because of a crisis, and then he gets home and the family's together and everything's wonderful. Okay, but I love it. It's fun. Going a little more classic, talk about things like the Charlie Brown Christmas, right? Which I think was the first Charlie Brown holiday special. They had that one and the Thanksgiving one, and then they did one as a Great Pumpkin, and I think they did a second Christmas special, right? But the original Charlie Brown's Christmas is great, okay? And I understand the animation is what the animation is, right? And sometimes the child actors they have doing the voices can be a little weird, but I love a Charlie Brown Christmas, and it's I think it's the only thing on this list that actually quotes scripture, right? That actually references Christ at Christmas, Christmas, if you want to look at it that way. And it's I'm not going to say it's my favorite Christmas movie ever, but as the whole thing goes through, it's just a fun Christmas show. And I also like those old Rankin Bass stop motion ones, Rudolph and Frosty, and Frosty's okay. I actually I prefer the stop motion ones. You know, I said Rudolph, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Jack Frost, right? That whole uh, that whole family of films. Okay, and part of it's because I just grew up watching them. Right, most of this most of this generation have grown up watching those, but they're fun, right? I'm not going to say they're high cinema. I am not going to say they're the greatest things ever, but they're fun, and I enjoy watching all of those. So I sat down and watched Jack Frost the other day, just cause, you know. But yeah, I love Jack Frost and Santa Claus is Coming to Town, which is fun, narrated by Fred Astaire, and I think Mickey Rooney does the voice of Santa. Chris Kringle, yeah, it's great. Again, another one of the very few Christmas movies that actually references Christ. Okay, I don't think they quote scripture, but they do reference the the babe in the manger and all that stuff. So hey, anytime I can get a Christmas story that actually talks about Christmas, that can be a plus. So I love all of those. Again, are they the greatest things ever? No, but they're fun, and I like them. So that's my thing. Next, and again, this is in no particular order of hey favorite movies versus not. Okay, this is just as I was thinking about them last night. But the Polar Express. Now, I will freely admit the animation is a little weird, and the elves are more than a little creepy. Okay, especially the elven Mick Jagger. Okay, and it is in fact I think Mick Jagger that sings the song at "Rocking on Top of the World." Okay, very creepy. A lot of people point to the animation in the Polar Express as falling down the uncanny valley, and that's totally fair. Okay, but I look at it as maybe a stylistic choice, maybe not. Okay, but it looks like it has come off the pages of a book, and that really that sells me on the animation. Again, some of the characters do look a little creepy. Okay, and they've made some choices for the voices of some of the elves. It's like, do you want to endear these elves to the children or scare these children to death? Okay, it's a it's a thing. But I love the music. Right? There's some great music in it. And there's what's the When Christmas Comes to Town. It's a song and I'm blanking on the character's name, the girl that's there. It's one that she joins in. Let me back up on this. You've got the main character who's this kid who's crossing that line between belief in Santa and not. And he's sort of the protagonist here. But on the Polar Express, which is picking up a bunch of these kids for a trip to the North Pole, because magic and things, right? One of the kids on there is this kid who he's from a very poor part of town, and Christmas just doesn't work out for him, as he says. And he's sort of singing a little bit because, again, musical. And she comes and joins in, and the song is fabulous. Okay, I love that song. Okay, and then the other thing I like, again, aside from all of the excitement of the train sliding on the frozen lake and all of the weird excitement as the kids try to get around and get to the North Pole or get to Santa after that they're at the North Pole and their train car decouples and all this stuff. Okay, that's all fun and fine. Again, I love the music, but I really like the message of belief and faith. Now, they talk about faith in Santa Claus, okay, but overall, it's still the idea that, hey, belief isn't bad. Faith isn't bad. These are good things. And that's the that's a message I can get behind. So yeah, it's again, I totally get it if the animation creeps you out. And I regret I never did get to see it in 3D, okay, which it was originally filmed for. And you can see it a few times, the way some of the shots are staged. Specifically, so if you're watching this in 3D, it's really coming out at you. The closest I got was, what was I at? I was at, I don't know. I can't remember where I was, but they had a little half-hour Polar Express 3D experience. And they hit sort of the highlights of the story in 3D, and it looks really cool. So definitely a fun movie. I love watching it, but that's what I love watching it as much for the music as anything else. Another one I like to watch for the music is White Christmas. It stars Bing Crosby and oh, what's the I'm blanking on his name. But anyway, this is one of those that we watched as a tradition every year on Thanksgiving. We'd have Thanksgiving dinner, and would do that usually at noon at lunchtime. We'd have Thanksgiving dinner, get everything cleaned up and put away, and before we would sit down to start pulling out the Christmas decorations, we would watch White Christmas. And then sometimes, no, okay, we're ready. Let's get the Christmas stuff up now, and we'll watch it tonight. But it was a tradition. We watched White Christmas every year, and multiple times throughout the year as well, because it's a good movie. This was my wife's favorite Christmas movie. I think it still is, but she has seen so many Christmas movies lately. I don't know if that's changed things, but the music is great. It's Irving Berlin, right? And a lot of it, if you've ever seen the movie Holiday Inn with Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, a lot of that music, including the song White Christmas, comes from that movie. And they repurposed most of the music for White Christmas. In fact, it was fun. Holiday Inn, also, again, a great movie if you haven't seen it. The idea is Bing Crosby plays an actor who does a show with Fred Astaire, and I forgot the name of the actress who plays the girl. Okay, but they're this threesome. Crosby's character is set to marry the girl, except she's in love with the partner, the other guy. And so plus, Crosby's character, he's done with acting. He's ready to get off the stage and go work on a farm somewhere. And she's not ready to quit the stage and the lights and all of that stuff. So he goes, he tries running a farm, and things don't go well for him. So he changes things up, and he converts his farm into a hotel that is only open on holidays. Right, it's the Holiday Inn. It's open for Christmas. It's open for Thanksgiving. It's open for St. Patrick's Day. Right, and then it's closed the rest of the time. It's just sort of this holiday destination. And there's a song in it that celebrates President's Day, or President's Day, Abraham Lincoln's birthday. I think maybe is specifically the focus. And there's the song about Abraham Lincoln. Now, the movie made in the time period has some elements that might be a little problematic. If you find blackface problematic, okay, there is one song, Abraham, I think, was done in blackface. And there's some lyrics in the song that might hit a little different with modern sensitivities than it did then, okay? Well, they've taken that song into White Christmas, they cranked up the RPM, and they made it to an instrumental jazz dance number. And it works great, okay? So, yeah, fun music. But I love White Christmas. Okay, it's just one of those songs. It's just a great. It's a great watch. It's fun. It's funny. And the dancing in it is fun to watch too. So because again, it's an old style musical where the music and the dance really is part of the movie. So but it's interesting. There are a couple of musicals. I may have to talk about this on another show because I like musicals. But you've got two types of musicals in some ways, right? At least as I'm thinking about it. You have those musicals where the characters feel so much the only way they can express their feelings is through song. Okay. And these are your traditional musicals in a lot of ways. These are things like Moana, right? Or Little Mermaid, right? Disney's musicals, where you've got the idea that you've got the I Want song, where Ariel, her desire to be part of that world, right? She can only express it through song, right? Or Moana, nope, I want to explore the waves and the ocean, and she sings that. Or Belle in Beauty and the Beast, I want adventure in the great wide somewhere, right? You get that. White Christmas, the music isn't that, okay? Because it focuses around a company that is performing musicals, right? Vaudeville and variety shows and that type of thing. So the music isn't so much the, hey, I can only express my feelings through song. The music is the songs in the show. It's not weird that, so people are bursting into song every other minute. Like that was weird. Like if you've ever seen Enchanted and the dude's reaction when she just bursts into song and all of Central Park joins her in this big production number. Okay. Yeah, that would be weird. White Christmas doesn't do this, right? There is one scene where Bing Crosby's character and the girl that he's kind of got the hots for meet up at night. He's at the piano dinking out, picking out music because that's what he does. That's part of what he does for the show. He's a songwriter and a singer and all this stuff. And she's looking for a midnight snack. Okay, and so they've run into each other there in the inn, and they get talking and stuff, and he starts playing this song. Now, yes, it is it is sort of the love song of the piece, but they don't ignore the fact that he just sang a song. In fact, he brings it up later, saying, hey, maybe this is a song we could do in the show. Right? It's part of, hey, this is something he's been working on. He sings it because, he's trying to put the moves on her, all that stuff. But for the most part, these are the songs that are happening in the show. And if you have ever hung around with music people, okay, any kind of music people, I was in band, okay, where it was mostly, right, it's a band, but half the band was in choir as well. And it does not surprise me when people just suddenly start breaking out into song, okay? That's just part of being around music people, right? But in this case, it's, hey, music is part of their lives. These are all performers. They're all singers. They're all dancers. This is their profession. And yeah, so it's fun. So if you're not into the musicals of they have to sing about their emotions, this isn't that type of musical. Okay. Another one I would highly recommend along those lines is Yankee Doodle Dandy, but that's a question for another time. Now, I could not talk about Christmas movies without the great debate of the movie Die Hard. Okay. Now, remember what I said about Hawkeye? Right? Here's a guy who's trying to be with his family. Crisis happens. He overcomes the crisis, and he and his family get together at the end, and are brought back together. by whatever crisis happens at Christmas time. Okay, Die Hard fits that. Now, you can have all of those debates about whether it's a Christmas movie or not. I tend to put it there because of what I just said. And it's got some great action. It's got some great banter. I love some of the times where you've got Bruce Willis as John McClane just mumbling to himself. He's crawling through an air duct. Come out to the coast. We'll have a few laughs, right? As he's hiding from terrorists, right? Yeah, it's great, and I almost need a machine or a clip of it, especially back when I was playing Fortnite and Apex Legends. Of the scene, he sends down a mannequin dressed in Christmas gear, and he has written on the sweater for the terrorists to find, "Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho." And that's one of those things like, oh yes, this is one of those quotes I just need to drop when I'm playing Apex, because yeah, you drop in and, oh, I will pick up this BMG or whatever. It's like, yes, now I have a machine gun, right? It's fun. Now, I as much fun as Die Hard is, and I love all of the characters, right? You got some great characters on the bad guy's side. Of course, McClane is great. You get the talk chatter with the cop outside. All this is fun. There is a heck of a lot of profanity in Die Hard, and Hawkeye has some. Okay, don't watch it with your younger kids, but it's still okay. Die Hard is definitely not a movie you take your 12-year-old to. That said, I saw it when I was 12. So, just saying, if you're a little more liberal in the types of movies you're okay with your kids seeing, go for it. But it's a good movie. I said I don't watch it as often these days because honestly, that much profanity, I could do without it. But it's fun. So yeah, I'm with you on the general feel. There are a lot of Christmas movies, a lot of Christmas music that's out there, and some of it is just gets old and tired. But there's some of these things that I come back to every year that I love, right? They're just some of my Christmas favorites. Some of those things that I've got to see these again. Okay. So let me know. Drop in in the comments. What are some of your favorites? Do you have a favorite Christmas movies or Christmas songs? Yeah, drop in the comments on Spotify or on YouTube, and I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled. Yes, I'd be thrilled to hear your wonderful recommendations for movies, right, Tommy? Yeah, no, that's the way to go. So, I just watched Jack Frost, and that was. Oh, anyway, so. So let me know. I always love seeing what's out there, what y'all are excited about. And until next time, be excellent to each other. And this is Music Free Static signing off.